Okay, folks, the time that we have is around 6 o'clock. We normally start at that time. I have a little different meeting tonight than we normally do. We actually have a legislative public hearing tonight before our council meeting. And this is a legislative meeting that will be hosted by Mr. Tracy Cassis. He has some matters of discussion concerning the Harper's Junction store and that property. The legislative act that may or may not happen would involve an annexation on that property. The reason for this public hearing tonight is to hear the public sentiments, issues for and not for the annexation of the Harper's Junction store. This is not the council's meeting. The council did not annex this property. This is a legislative consideration, which is another way of doing this. The city could not annex the property and did not annex the property and did not intend to annex the property. But there's two ways to do this. If you don't have contiguous boundaries, he can, the owner can petition the legislature to bring it in through a legislative act. And we'll talk about that more as the meeting goes forward. Got a lot of folks here tonight. We'd like to have a couple of people as spokespersons for the community, and then we'll hear from the business owner, and we'll hear from Tracy, of course, as he sees fit to conduct the meeting. Tracy, it's yours.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. I'm a little bit surprised to be sitting at this table. I almost feel like I'm in a courtroom and I'm on trial. I thought I was coming to observe tonight, and the mayor let me know that I was going to be kind of hosting this event. So, first of all, let me thank everybody for coming. This is exactly what I had hoped for, would be a room filled with interested parties. This process goes back, I'm going to guess, Vic can answer maybe 9, 10, 11 months, even while we were still on the campaign trail. He approached me and asked me if I would consider this. And he will tell you from the very beginning I've expressed my concerns. The residents in the area around the store had made it very clear to me from the beginning that they were not interested in this action being taken. To be honest with you, I never thought it would get to this point, but I felt like once it did get to this point, I owed it to everyone involved to have exactly what we're having tonight, and that is a public hearing to hear those who are in favor and those who are opposed. I will take the blame for this. The mayor and I talked the other day, and I had misunderstood where some people stood on this particular issue. And our police chief is going to come speak to us in just a moment. The police chief and I have discussed some of his concerns, and I don't want to put words in Mr. Vickery's mouth. I know this is a public safety issue to him, and I think he has some very, very valid points there. At the same time, I just felt like it was, in fairness to all involved, that we have an opportunity to exchange ideas, voice concerns, any that might be in support thereof. The main thing I want people to realize tonight, this right here is what we call democracy. And I'm very grateful for that. People have a concern. This is what I love about our local communities. People show up, they have an interest, and they come share an opinion. We are certainly under no obligation to take this action. I have made no promises to take this action. And Vic and I have discussed this numerous times, that if my people, and I mean specifically in the area around the store, that's the ones to me that have the most reason to be concerned or in favor of, whatever the case may be. Because I know how I would feel if this were near my home. I would want to be consulted, and I would want to be allowed to have an opinion. I would want to be allowed to have a voice. So in simple terms, that's what we're doing here tonight. I want to make sure the residents in the immediate area, not that I'm not interested in the folks at South Hamilton or the folks out in the west or east of the town. This is a primary consideration for those who live between Hamilton and Hackleburg, who have the greatest vested interest in this discussion. So to me, that's what this is for tonight. And with that said, I'd like for our police chief to come up and maybe share some of his comments that he and I have discussed before.
Thank you.
Turn it on.
Say it, we'll hear you.
I'm here now.
Yeah, we'll hear you.
All right, thank you, Representative Estes, Mayor, City Council. I do have some concerns about this in opposition to it coming into the city limits. I have a small police department, a 14-man police department, 10 of which are patrol officers. 8 are on the street, 9 of them, because I have 2 in school. Won't get them back until July. Well, we have the city limits here that is 38 square miles. That don't sound like a whole bunch. Tuscaloosa's only 36. But we're larger in area and square miles than the city of Tuscaloosa is. And they have 200 men, and I have 14 total. So my concern is that we try to do the best we can for what we got inside the city limits. We try to provide the best service we can for people inside the city limits. And I don't think it would be safe for us to take in something a mile up the road. That would move our jurisdiction 3 more miles up the road in a radius around that area. That 3 miles would put us right at Stewart's Body Shop. Now, the south end goes all the way to Goody,
Almost.
almost. And that's just north and south, 43 south, north and south. We patrol 2 men at night. We average 125 to 140 miles per unit a night. And to have that area to come into city limits and be able to provide them with the type of protection that we try to provide with the 8,000 inside the city limits,
Yes, sir.
we'd have to have more officers.
That was going to be my next question.
I'd have to have 3 more officers, 4 more officers. Those costs, the whole package on those usually around about $50,000 a year, insurance, retirement. So, with that being said, we should consider proposing it. Thank you.
Anybody got any questions quickly for the chief that he might can respond to while he's at the podium? All right, chief, you got all work? All right.
Excellent.
I think the next appropriate thing would be let Mr. Big come up if he would, and before we get too far one-sided, let him offer a couple comments as to why he thinks this might be in our best interest.
Thank you, Mr. Estes. Thank you, Council. Like police chief was saying, yes, it will extend it 3 more miles, but I'm already in the police jurisdiction. I'm just a mile outside city limits. And I just found out, Mr. Estes, I will tell you, I'm already paying city taxes with my fuel. I kind of overpaid. Yeah, I kind of overpaid. I overpaid $5,000. But like I said, all it's going to do is, yes, I understand what he's saying. If you look at it that way, once we get into city limits, what we're going to do is, right now we employ 3 people because that's all we can afford. We don't have enough business because everything around us is where, and we're the only dry place. And that store had been closed for 5 years. I took a chance, I opened the store. I was like, yes, this is a good patient. Now, if we get into city limits, our business will at least go 3 times. Like I would, yes, I have my vested interest in profit, but revenue-wise, like I don't know if we will be able to pay 4, but at least we'll pay. So at least we can pay more than 2.5 salaries of the taxes we will put into the city's pocket.
So you're projecting.
Yes, of course. See, now we only
Increase
do
revenue to the city.
yeah,
Enough to cover 2 officers.
yeah, easily. Like now we only do $25,000. Once we get into city limits, we'll go 24 hours because I know there's nothing around me for 6 months that's open. We make food, we got pizzas and everything. We're trying to put in like a laundromat next door. And like we will, our sales, to be honest, will go from, we do about 30,000 inside sales, would go at least 100, at least 3 times. That's 9%. If you take 60,000 up with 9%, that's 55, $6,000 extra just in sales tax.
So now you realize the city does not get that full 9 cents, that's state, county, and municipal.
City gets 4%, not that we're not getting anything. That's like extra 4,000 a month for the city, plus my fuel taxes, be about $7,000 just for the city. I pay, right now I'm in police jurisdiction, I pay 1 penny a gallon. Once I get into the city, it'll be 2 pennies, so it'll be twice. We do about 60, 70,000 gallons a month, that'll be easy, we'll be the 24-hour store. We will put about $70,000 to $100,000 into the city with taxes. Not considering what I gave you, we always help the school, the fire department, everybody. Like the fire people come to our store, we never charge them for coffee, we never charge them for fountain, same with the police department. We don't charge them, hey, this is the least we can do. This is only so far we can go with what we have. If you let us come in, and like I said, if we can give you back our ABC like record for last 6 years, we have never sold to any underage. We will get you that certificate. You can put in on contingent with us that we have never been fined by ABC in the last 6 or 7 years I've been in business. We've never been fined by ABC, never sold to underage. Yes, like I said, and it will generate at least, with now we have 3 people, then we'll have 12 people working round the clock because we'll have a full-fledged kitchen. We'll employ 9 or 10 more people. I'll get jobs around that place. But I live in Hoover. All I do, that's the way I feel is, it is a community store. I just serve it. It's not my store. It's a community store. They have authorized. Like I get senior citizens in the morning. We charge them 25 cents for a coffee. We don't charge them for price. Just give us like, and to be honest, they'll fill 3-4 cups. It's fine with us. Like we're fine. Like we do as much as we can.
Let me ask you this, and I don't want to speak for the residents, but I know having covered events such as this through the newspaper for 26, 27 years here, I would think another concern for the residents would be this land, while it's not currently contiguous to corporate limits of the city of Hampton, if this action were taken, now we've got city limits sitting out there on an island. What's to prevent the other neighbors from tapping onto your property? And all of a sudden, the city limits out in the country starts to grow, and I'm assuming several of these people live in that area because they don't want to be part of this.
Yeah, so nobody, like I said, it's a democracy. Nobody's forcing anybody to get into city limits.
I'm not saying we force them to get in, I'm just saying there would be those near your property who have that right to exercise at that point, and that would still grow the corporate limits in an area where I don't think they really want that to happen, I guess is what I'm asking.
There's always plus and minuses. Whatever you want to look at it. I'm looking at more taxes to the city, more employment for the people. That's all I'm looking. Yes, I'm not saying that there won't be some, like you said, people will tap into this. I understand that. I understand that. That's why, like I said, I first came to the city was like, that's fine, we'll do it. And then I even gave them an Excel sheet of how much we are expecting revenue-wise and everything. So we're creating more jobs to people, like around the people. I'm not gonna hire people from outside city or anywhere. Like most of my people who work there are local. Everybody wants a job. That's like 9 extra jobs for people. Like I said, and I will say this right now, I'm supposed to get a refund check from the city for the extra money I've given them. I would right now, they say put your money where your mouth is, whatever. I will write that check to the fire department right now. I don't even want it. They can send it to the city, and they can send it to Mr. They can send it back to the city. We'll give it to the fire department. I've already gone. Any extra money, I can write it off in taxes and give it to the community. But I need some support from them. I'll go around. Like I said, these couple of applications, we were across the school, and if you let the council, it is glowing recommendations from principals and everybody. They have given me glowing recommendations. I always sponsor softball teams, baseball teams, fire department. I do everything around my store.
Just so everyone knows what those letters are letters that Vic has provided from neighbors to other stores that he currently operates.
Yeah, we have one in Corner, we have one in Oak Grove. That was my first store. They gave us, I sold that store. I went there after 9 years. They still remembered me. They gave me that page where I sponsored the entire yearbook, and they gave me a recommendation. The store in Corner, the principal loved me. We did everything. We had the town We gave them food, like we sponsored the softball, baseball, like everybody came to us. We were right across the street from them, and we still got a license because the principal recommended us. Technically, if you share a property line with a school or church, you cannot get it, but the school recommended us and we got it. But like I said, I'm willing to do for the community if you guys give me a little support. Like I said, I will happily write the $4,500 check right now to the fire department. I will happily write it. I don't have a problem, I'll write it. Anything extra, and end of the year, I can, give a school, I can give to somewhere and write it off in my taxes. That's what I did previously. That's why, even after 9-10 years, people were still happy to give me a recommendation.
Vic, you got any other points you'd like to make, or is there anyone else here to speak on your behalf? Or?
They're my employees. They have been with me forever. Like, in this, I know I don't have a whole lot, but I said, I got whatever I could.
Any questions for Mr. Vic before we let someone on the other side of the topic speak?
Oh, I'd like to ask this question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, why do you want inside the city limits? Why?
So the reason is obvious. I want to sell alcohol. That's what the.
You want to sell alcohol at that location right
Yes, sir.
there?
Yes, sir. That is what's going to get us the extra traffic.
Okay. How many seats are there in the restaurant?
It's like a full-fledged restaurant. We got like 6 booths. We created a whole,
Okay.
we built the whole restaurant in there.
Okay.
But we don't have enough foot traffic, and then we don't have enough business to, employ an extra person. Like, you run a restaurant, you need at least 1 person cooking, 2 person serving. We need more people, and I can't afford it with
Right.
my little sales.
And you think you're gonna sell enough alcohol to hire another person?
Oh, yes, sir.
That's a lot of alcohol. First
Oh,
of
it
all.
does, sir, it does. Like, honestly, I've been in this.
Secondly, I think you're being a little bit optimistic about what an alcohol license will do for your store. You're gonna have the same number of cars passing every day.
Oh, sir.
And the split, and when you split your alcohol sales between you and Tin Top, that's not a whole lot.
So the whole thing is like, this is how alcohol works. People who buy alcohol usually will come on the weekend. I'll be honest with you. Weekday you don't have so many sales, but people who drink alcohol usually smoke a cigarette, 90%. What happens is when people smoke a cigarette, now since they are used to going to one store to buy alcohol, that's where they buy their cigarettes, that's where they buy their gas and their soda and everything. Now, if they have something that they don't have to drive all the way, Tin Top will give you alcohol, it won't give you gas. You have to go down to Hamilton. So if I'm driving, I will go to a store where I can get everything. That's usually everybody does. And from where I'm sitting, I'll be the first store from a dry county. I will have a lot of traffic. Like, I've been in the business 10
That's not a
years.
selling point to me.
Well, let me ask you a question. We've got wet cities
Mhm.
all around us.
Mhm.
We joined Ewan, it's wet, Ewan joined Winsfield, it's wet, they run all around us. So, what I can't understand about, instead of going the route you're going, why aren't you putting your efforts behind making the county wet? And that would include you.
I cannot get my
That's
store
one
back.
question. One question. Second question is, what's gonna keep that, just like, if you get the alcohol license, what's gonna keep you from having a tavern that building on? Just have a tavern like Littlewood Tavern.
I'm sorry,
What's gonna keep you from doing that?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question.
If you got plans
Uh-huh.
on building on and stuff like that, and there's a rumor going around that about something called tout beer they sell at stores. I'm sure you've heard of tout beer.
Yeah.
All right, what's gonna keep you from just putting a room up there, extra room on that building? And people just come in, drink a beer, eat their popcorn, get right back up, go out and get in the car. Are you interested in public safety?
No, sir. I own 3 more stores. We run it in a way we never get an on-premise beer license. That is there's a certain way everybody does business. I'm not like a sports bar. That's not my business, and that's not what I
What
do.
would keep you from being if you decided to be?
That is not my business. It's not worth it for me. It's not worth it for me. Let me put it to you that For a sports bar, you gotta be in the city, you have to have enough people. I'm in the middle of nowhere. If somebody wants to have a good time, to go to a sports bar, they will go to a good wing place and, got TVs all over. It should look like a sports bar. Would anybody come to a gas station to drink draft beer? When was the last time you saw somebody go to a gas station to drink draft beer? Nobody does that. I have no intention of doing that. It's like, that's a bad business, way to do business. Like, I'm in the middle of nowhere. Like, if I was in the city, that's a different story. Everybody wants to come to the city. You want to have lights, you want to have music, everything. I have no intention to do that. It's not worth it. That's just going to get me more risk. Like I said, people will drink, something happens. It's not worth it for me. That guy drank three cans of beer and he walked out of my store and he went and wrecked somebody. That's going to jeopardize my entire business. It's bad business policy. I'm not going to do it. It's not worth it for me. Not worth it for me. And also the way we have got the store situated is the building on the side, it's the garage, is going to be where we're going to sell alcohol. So people who haven't come to the store, they will not see alcohol inside the store. That's the way we have designed it. We don't intend to put the beer, if you get, inside the store. It's going to be on the other side. So people who have been coming over there, they can come with the children and everything, because to sell alcohol on the other side, you have to be 21 or up even to go on that side of the store. That's how we have it in Carbon Hill. We have a store. I don't know if you have any of you been to the Carbon Hill store. We have one, and we have a separate entrance. That's where we sell alcohol and everything. So when we get traffic, the highway traffic comes in with children and everything. They walk into us on this side of the store. There is no alcohol. They can run around the store like we are not worried about some kid opening a cooler door and picking up a beer. No, we keep it separate. That's the way it is, and that's the way even ABC does it. That you cannot. If you want to sell alcohol, you have to make sure it's in a separate portion. And we have enough. The garage next door, everybody, you must have seen it. That's where we had to put it. So the store side remains big, and like people can come in. We have the restaurant in there. We'll let people eat and everything. But we have no intention of selling on-premise beer. That's not how we do business.
Okay, Vic, if you would,
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna let one of these folks come up. I'm sure we
Yes,
got
sir.
one or two of you would like to say a couple of things. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hey, I want to thank everybody for the Shiloh community being here tonight, and I think if this hearing had been midday, you'd had a lot more elderly people here, because a lot of people, can't drive at night. And also, I think we should have had it up in maybe the old police department up there where they've been here, because a lot of people I talked to said, there ain't gonna be room, and all that. So, but I do appreciate the ones that's here. Listening to him, everything sounds really good, but the brand new thing, I guess, for Alabama is drought beer on tap, And he may not, but his whoever buys him out and moves on down the road there, it'd be an ideal location with that seating there for a restaurant, just to have some beer right there on tap. The old building don't have any windows in it, so that'd work for good for a beer joint, and all y'all folks know that. And that's, that's the main reason we're here, because we got, there's nothing wrong with the Junior Mart. I had Bobby Bowden there to ask him why he wanted it, if he had, he shouldn't have never said to sell alcohol. If he just wanted a Junior Mart or a country store and wanted to be in the city limits, that made a difference. But he just outright said he wanted to sell alcohol. Well, these folks right here lives in that neighborhood, and I do too. We don't want more alcohol. You got 17 places you can buy it in Hamilton now, and 3 restaurants. And I believe it's like estimated, it's more than I thought it was. It's 10,200 people lives in the city now. If you take 3,400 meters, multiply it times 3, I believe that's the way you come up with a number probably of how many people lives here. That's a lot more than I thought it was. But that community up there is just not, it's just not ready for it. I'm already past 50-year-old myself, and got a lot of, Gina. We got a lot of people up there that's older, and it's a real settled community, and we're just not interested in it all. And also, if you got property up in that area, you don't want it, because it's going to devalue if you're inside of that thing. And I know he's probably got good ideas, but he's just one person, plus the landowner and the leasee, or whatever the word is, out of Vernon that's got the lease on the property. I can see how they'd make some money. But you cannot hurt this many people right here and many, many others just for 3 people to make a little money. And that's the reason we're here tonight. We don't want it whatsoever. The chief of police answered a lot of good questions. I didn't know Hamilton had 38 square miles. I didn't know it had 250 miles of roads and streets and back alleys. Boy, that's a lot of territory, and the best, chief's doing the best he can. With 14 officers, guarantee you there's a lot of them on gravel roads that don't see a police officer once the dadgum week. And the sheriff department, so big, the county is, they can't cover it, so we sure don't need to go out any further, And, and the cost of it, I've been in the gas business myself a few years now, and that's some pretty big numbers up there that store is supposed to be pumping out, I'd really have to see the tally sheet to believe that myself, because, like I say, I've been in the gas business 50 years, and it takes a lot of gas to pump out 70,000 gallons a month, I can tell you
And I
that.
got a comment I'd like to make on that too. How are you? I live up there next to that store. They have got plastic garbage bags hanging up over their tobacco products. They can't sell tobacco products up there right now, and I've been through there several times, no offense to none of the gas store owners, and they've been out of gas up there numerous times with their gas pumps covered. No gas. I mean, if he thinks he's gonna be bringing in income for the city of Hamilton, why is he not selling tobacco products? That's a big seller right now.
Can I answer that?
Sure.
The reason we're not able to sell is like we were in the process of changing ownerships from Mr. Logan to us. So in that meantime, we kind of like our lease got like in the way, and it was not continuous, and that's the reason we are not able to sell tobacco. If you have to have a lease, and right now they're in the process of selling. Mr. Logan just sold it to my partner, so like we just bought the property. So if you're in between and Mr. Logan is like, no, I'm not gonna give the lease, you're gonna buy it, take it over, and then you can go get it. And this, see, I answer her question to, when we lost our tobacco, we lost way too much business. We were doing about 1,500 of sales inside. We went to 300 a day. And I can show you the figures. Like, if he wants numbers, I will give you the numbers. That is how bad just the tobacco sales hit us. And that's the reason we couldn't even afford to get gas.
Let's move forward. We're gonna run out of time. We've got some elderly people here, don't drive after dark, okay? The city would have to present a resolution to you asking for this to happen, and that resolution would have to have intention of health and goodwill. I don't see goodwill in Hamilton. I don't see goodwill in the Shiloh community. And then another part of it have to be expedient to the economy. The chief's done answered that. The economy ain't gonna gain a dadgum thing out of taking more property in, more miles to run, and speed it up. If he don't, someone will someday, if they have the old building. And this dry beer on tap is really gonna be a problem, because Mississippi's had it forever, and you know about those beer joints over there. When I was a small kid, I always heard about the Pines, and then you seen that great movie, Walking Tall. That's how I see that location right up there. It'd just be a deadly position, right in the center of our community there, and we do not want it. We intend to fight it as long as we can, but we do hope that this won't ever come up again. This has been dragging on. Somebody said a few months, it's been dragging on 4 years. And we definitely don't want it, so let's please end this thing. I know it's out of y'all's hands, but let's just please end this thing and not let it come up more in our lifetime, okay?
Let me say this.
Yes.
I'm the one that made the statement about it being close to a year, because that's how long I've been involved in it when I was first approached. I know this body has dealt with it for quite a bit longer time than that. Let me clarify something, and I hope nobody misunderstands this comment. To me, this is not an economic issue. It can be an economic issue, but for me, this is a public opinion issue. And that's the only reason I want to have this tonight. I felt like, you and I have had this conversation several times, and I've had it with a few other residents in that area. I primarily held this tonight to see if public sentiment had changed. It has not changed.
It's not.
And that's all I wanted to hear, with all due respect to Vic. I just wanted to know, I'm here to serve the people of this community. And that's why I have every intention of doing it. I believe in public voice. I believe in people having the right to voice their opinion. Too many men and women have died for us to have that right. So tonight was a chance to exercise a little bit of democratic process. I just wanted folks to have a chance to voice an opinion and see if that opinion had changed from what I heard when I knocked on doors a year ago. And it hasn't. It hasn't.
Thank you, thank y'all.
Yes, sir.
First of all, thank you, Mr. Estes, for being here.
Yes, sir.
And I appreciate you making this a social issue rather than an economic issue. I think the economic question has been addressed, and it doesn't make sense for the city personally.
What is your name?
I'm sorry, my name is Paul Davis, and I have lived within a mile of that store my family has, for over 100 years. So I have some vested interest in it, so I'm glad you're taking it as an opinion rather than looking at the economics, because I don't think the economics, I listen to his numbers, I don't think they make sense personally. I don't think you can project that much growth in that little store. I've known the owner of that store when he was running it for years, never generated that kind of income, and I don't think the liquor license is going to change that. So thank you for being here. Thank you, council. I appreciate your time.
I think one thing is very important, I know we've got to hurry, Mayor, because you've got other business you've got to conduct tonight, is I promised everybody when I ran for office, I would be your voice. And that's what I'm trying to do tonight. Too many times people get elected to go to Montgomery or Washington or whatever the case may be, and they ride a wave of votes to get somewhere. Then they wring their hands and think they accomplished what they wanted. They forget everybody that they asked to support them. That's not my intention at all. So I had a very good understanding, I felt like, coming here tonight, what opinion already was. And Vic will tell you, I've told him that several times, and I've been polite about it. I've shared with him numerous times in person and over the telephone, and I know he's worked hard. He's got out and got petitions signed and whatnot for those that have supported him. But if he'll be honest, he'll tell you, one day we were standing in the State House a few weeks ago, and he grabbed me by the elbow out of the crowd, and we ended up in a stairwell together talking, and he got to talking about how many, I won't mention that number tonight, he can share it if he'd like, how many signatures he had. It was quite substantial. I told him, I said, well, I understand that. But the 80 to the 100 folks that live immediately around that store that have expressed their concerns to me, their opinion carries more weight because this is their home. And I know how I would feel if someone tried to come put something in my front or backyard that I did not want. So with that said, I don't want you to lose any sleep over this. With all due respect to Vic, we can't do it. And it's just, to me, this is what it's about. And if the roles were reversed, I would say the same thing to Vic. I think he's trying to run a good business, and I commend him for doing that. I appreciate what money he's bringing into our community. Lord knows we need it, don't we, Mayor?
We do.
The mayor and his council do a tremendous job providing services for our people here on a very limited budget. And while this may or may not be an economic issue for us, it's like I said earlier, to me, it's more about home. And when people stand up, it makes me feel good. We see the world changing quite a bit, but it still makes me feel good to see this many people stand up and say, this is my home, and I want to protect my home. So with that said, Mayor, unless you've got anything else, anyone else? All right, Mayor, I guess it's your meeting. Thank you for coming, everybody.
I'd like to say thank you.
Well, I want you to understand, this was the purpose of having, this was not a predetermined decision that we were gonna do this, and Vic and I talked about that, and I'm sure he's disappointed. But I told him that I remember who sent me to Montgomery, and I will always remember who sent me to Montgomery. The day that ends, I'll leave. But I just felt like it was important, and I apologize to any of you who have lost sleep over that. That's not been my intention to cause you any restless nights. But I feel like this is the way elected officials stay in contact with those they represent and they serve. They have meetings. I won't get off into it, but I told the governor, she was sitting right here, and I'm about right here one day, the day before the gas tax vote. We won't get started on that because I don't want to get shot before we leave tonight. But I told her, I said, Madam Governor, I said, if you had given me 2 weeks to go home, I would have held some town hall meetings. And I would have met with my people because they're my people, and I'm their voice. And I believe once folks are fully informed on the issues, they're grateful. And that's all this was for tonight, was to fully inform everybody of what was at stake here and to give everybody an opportunity who wanted to come. We didn't go rounding up folks, putting the sheriff and the police chief out there, rounding up, getting them to come. But people are here by their free will to voice an opinion, and I truly appreciate your time, because I know it's very valuable. Thank you, everybody.
We want to thank you.
Yes, sir.
As many of you as want to stay, can stay, up to 30 people. Room on the accommodation tree, kind of over the room here tonight.
Still early, you gotta go in anyway.
Yeah, she probably got this up.
Oh, way. I'm gonna stay for the business meeting.
You are you?
Hey, Walter.
Just give people a chance to express concerns. Yes, sir. I'm not gonna force it in somebody's backyard. What you can show me.
I'm gonna stay for the, you gonna stay for the business meeting?
Yeah,
I am too.
yeah, I got a drive to get,
Have you? Well, I may leave
we're gonna
then.
have to get that
I may
gravel
leave.
truck out and dig out some ditches around here.
If you've got much of a gripe, I may not want to do it.
Right, my complaint, and the water, and the water. You will be impeached. You're impeached.
They don't anybody ever let pay attention to me, do they? I know it.
We'll impeach you. Let me get over here and sit down. I'm gonna do what you want.
You over and see what's going on.
I'll sit over here before people start talking.
What? I sat between two men just now. I don't think
You
nobody
did?
cares. They're not gonna buy me.
You're more than welcome. Thank you. Thank you for understanding. We felt like we need to have a meeting.
Okay. We, continue on now and start our regular, council meeting. We'll call that meeting to order, and, before we get into our meeting, let's have our invocation and pledge of allegiance. Father, we thank you that we can meet tonight and discuss the matters at hand that pertain to government for our community and what's best for our community. Lord, we thank you that we can always be heard and have a voice. Lord, most of all, we want you to listen to our pleas as we plead for our community, for our personal lives, for our own convictions, Lord, that we commune with you about on a daily basis. We ask you to go forward with us in this meeting. Guide us through our lives. Bless our community. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, our first item on our agenda tonight would be the recommendation to approve the minutes of the April 15th, 2019 City Council meeting. We need a motion for that.
I'll make that motion.
Got a motion, we need a second. Second. Second by Joe, all in favor of approving those minutes? Thank you. The second item is the recommendation recommendation to approve the minutes from the April 12th, 2019 work session. We need a motion for that also. Wade made the motion, we need a second.
Second.
Tammy made a second. All in favor of approving those minutes? Thank you. The third item would be a recommendation to approve our accounts payable bills for April 2019.
I'll make a motion.
Gene made a motion, we need a second.
I'll second.
Herbert second. All in favor?
Mayor, I vote to pay them all. I have some that I have a question about, and I'm gonna give that to Ms. Angela.
Okay. Okay. All right. We'll sure get you some answers. The fourth item would be a recommendation to appoint Jeremy Streetman as our city prosecutor in and for our municipal court, and to pay him $500 a month for that position. And he will be replacing Scott Hunt in that capacity.
Mayor, I'd like to straighten something out, because I know a lot of people don't understand this. Scott Hunt's not resigning from his job. He's just turning the court system over to. And I thought he was resigning from his old job.
No, sir, I'll still be the city attorney, just not the prosecutor.
I wanted everybody to understand that, because I didn't understand it. I don't think anybody else did. And he'll still be.
As Gene said, in this recommendation, that this would only be a replacement for Scott as it pertains to our municipal court.
So you're making an appointment, you want us to make a motion to pay?
Yes.
I make a motion, we pay him.
I second.
Okay. All in favor of paying Jeremy with his wages, not $500 a month? Okay. Also, I'd like to make a recommendation to give $500 to the beautification board to purchase flowers for the downtown area. We normally do this as an annual donation. And our beautification board has really been at work recently in making our city look better. We need a motion. Wade made the motion, we need a second.
Second.
Second by Bobby Joe, all in favor of giving the beautification board $500. We have a recommendation to purchase new software system for the municipal software group to replace the current system used in our municipal court and by Marl Shaw. The cost of the new system will be $6,000 for the initial setup and the first year's support. The support after the first year will be $2,400 a year. I believe that's going to be $3,000 a year for support, continued support for that system. And this will be cheaper than what we're paying now. The software package will be a new package that fits our size courts better, as Marla explained to us at our workshop.
Mayor, if we go ahead with this recommendation tonight, I'm gonna suggest that, if we choose to go ahead and purchase this, we hold off for a minute on the purchase itself and decide if in fact we're going to send somebody else for training. That way, when this system is installed, they would get the training at the same time Marla does.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It really does. We've been talking about backup for that department. Yes, I'd like to amend that to say, can we amend that motion to say what Tammy has said there?
Yes, sir.
One thing I wanted to point out, I think I put it in everybody's box that it had there was a copy of a deposit slip in there. That was money we had taken out of Marla's online payments that she gets. You know, I try not to let it get too top heavy. We'll take that out and put it in the general fund, so really her online court payments will pay for that. It won't come out of the general fund.
I'll make that motion.
The amended motion is
Right.
what we're voting on. Okay. And who seconded that?
Herbert.
All in favor? Thank you. And we'll decide about, that, training part-time through.
Excuse me, Mayor, so right now we're gonna hold off, we're not passing it
We're
as it is.
we're passing it. The date that we'll bring it on is to be decided.
Okay.
We won't order it immediately.
Okay.
We're gonna decide at a workshop about what kind of support we're gonna give her.
So we're going
That'd be
ahead.
the place to discuss that at a workshop maybe, and then bring it to a vote. Okay. Let's take that up at our next workshop.
Thank you.
Okay, item 7 is just, we're not gonna vote on this item tonight, but I want to recommend that we consider this, and we won't even bring it to a vote. But I'm considering, making the Days Inn Street, an award of the Days Inn. And there's several reasons that this needs to happen. We're gonna do some more checking before we bring it to a vote, but I'd like for everyone to, talk to our attorney, all of you privately, about the reasons behind this and why we would wanna do this. And, he has, studied this for us. We're not gonna vote on it tonight, but I want each one of you to at least, have a word with Scott concerning this and let him kind of give you the scenario that we would consider doing this under. We also, item 8 of the agenda, have a recommendation to pass resolution 2019-5-6 for the Water Department's annual municipal water pollution prevention report. Rodney, if you would elaborate on that report just a little before we bring it to a vote and tell us kind of what we'll be voting on here tonight.
This is an annual report that we have to pass this resolution every year to accept this report. This report is a combination of all of our samples during the year from the wastewater treatment plant. This is a combined report of all the reports that we do throughout the year. This is for the actual year 2018 that we have to have this report in this year. Once we get all the lab results from our reports, we take all that information and through these 8M forms that we have to fill out, we grade our own water treatment or wastewater treatment plant. We grade it through this system of 8M. And we have to put all of this stuff in this report, that any upgrades we do to the wastewater plant. In 18, we did the drying beds. All that's included in this report. Anything we do maintenance-wise to the plant is in this report. And it kind of grades our overall plant through this report. As of now, our plant is in good standing. I mean, everything's good with it. Of course, we have maintenance issues that arise that sometimes we don't know about, but we take care of those problems. And all that maintenance stuff that we do is also in this report. This report's been, we sent it to the engineer, he went through it and approved it. And that's what we have to do every year.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions before we vote? This is an annual resolution that we passed to vow to continue to support clean wastewater and to make sure that we have a resolve to continue to perform up to par and keep reports and stats about what we do to make sure that we ensure that the water we release is clean water.
If anybody'd like to read the report, it's 83 pages long, so.
If you need something to help you sleep tonight, he'll let you carry that home.
Will you go home and read it too?
I about know it front and back.
You wouldn't have to have it, huh?
resolutions, and we'll call it to a vote. We'll do the motion before we vote, and a second.
I'll make
Wade made the motion for this resolution, we'll need a second.
Second.
Joe second. All in favor of passing this annual resolution? Thank you. Item 9 on the agenda is a recommendation to approve the purchase of a new 2019 Ford F-250 4x4 pickup truck for the Hamilton Water Department. The cost of this vehicle will be $34,967, and I believe that's a state bid.
Yes, sir, state bid price.
Is this budgeted? I mean, do we have this in the budget for this year?
Yes, sir, it's in the supply budget for the shop.
Rodney has made sure that he had enough funds that he could divert into this to make the purchase without hurting our budget funding.
And with Mike's, we had to do a bid, but since this is state bid, we don't.
Get out the state bid.
I'll make that motion, that's what we're waiting on.
Okay, Gene made the motion to make this purchase. We'll need a second.
No, second.
Second, Herbert. All in favor? Thank you very much. That was all of the items I had on tonight's agenda. I would like to make the announcement about the Hamilton Alumni Banquet that's normally held in June. Tammy, if you'll tell us how it's going to be done this time, I'd appreciate it.
This year, the Alumni Association will hold the banquet the Saturday following the homecoming football game in the fall. There will not be an alumni banquet the second Saturday in June this year. So as soon as the football schedule's out, Mr. Ryan Knight will make the announcement, but it will be the Saturday following the homecoming football game.
I'd love to really commend our community for getting out to our First Friday's events. This past one was an adventure. We had a professional cook, chef, on board, and the gas company brought one of their gas stoves out, and she let people sample some of her cooking and sold cookbooks and autographed them, and there was just booths everywhere, good food booths, plus a lot of community interest booths were out there. Some of the churches were out there working, and different factions of our community coming together. It just looked so good, and I was very pleased with our First Fridays, and we'll be having another one. Mr. Jewell, do you want to say a word tonight?
Yes, sir, I would.
Okay, well, come to the podium and talk. You're not on the agenda, we're gonna let you talk anyway, since we're in a
I
good mood.
appreciate it, Mayor. Mayor Hayes and council for letting me talk to y'all. I've been talking to Mr. Page for the last year, 2 months, about a trailer park that lives right behind me, or I live in front of it. Now, this trailer park was growed up, so the city sent them a letter telling them to cut the grass. They come in with a bulldozer and scraped all the grass and all the stuff in the yard and piled it up. The owner of the property gives the people 30 days to move out. So the people left their trailers there, and before that happened, DCH come out and took a little boy, a little girl away from the last couple in the trailer because of mold in the trailer. Well, the trailer was still sitting there, and the people came back and took everything out of the trailers and put it out in the yard. And I'm living by a mess. One of the trailers doesn't have hardly any walls on it, so you can see all the way through it. And it's grown up again. Now, the city has an ordinance that they can clean the property up and bill the owner of the property. And that's what I'm asking the city to do. I've been going through this for 12 months.
Where is this location?
167 Old Ivy Trail. It's right down Munsonware Road. Take a right on Bruce Drive, you take a ride on an old Ivy Trail sitting right there. I've got some pictures of it, if you would like to see them.
I believe.
I've been there, I'm witness, it's as bad as he says, and worse.
I know, that's really what I said.
But
Can
I'm
we
gonna
do what he said,
This
please?
is on the trailers there. That's some stuff sitting there. And this was the last trailer. You can really see it.
Who acted on it?
Roy Brooks. It's in Oklahoma, Tennessee.
That's what I'm saying, I never heard of it. Does anybody live in any of it?
No,
They just there?
they're there. I can't get him to clean his property up. The bulldozers run over all the septic tanks and the field lines. It's been reported to the health department. It's been reported to Montgomery. So I need some help back there.
All right. Well, we'll need to contract this to get it hauled off, or can we haul it off?
Well, it'd be, I mean,
What's happened, the dozer mixed dirt and elements together, so it can't be separated, it'll have to be front end
I
loaded.
think you'd be better off to contract it with somebody that knows how to dispose of.
You know,
See,
it's
some of it
buys
can't go in
little rails under mobile homes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it all depends on what you're, I mean, if you're talking about dismantling the mobile homes, it's gonna have to be, the rails are gonna hurt, the frame's gonna have to be cut, and have to go to a certain type of landfill, and all of it have to go to a different place. It probably needs to be inspected by somebody to see if there's any asbestos or anything like that, and it's a,
I'm very much in sympathy with Mr.
well, I am too, it's a mess over there. Terrible.
Gonna cost some money to move it, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's probably why it hasn't been
It's probably.
done.
Why it hadn't been moved.
Now, I offered to buy the property, from Mr. Brooks if he would clean it up. But he told me he wanted $20,000
You like it, don't you?
and me clean it up.
Oh, and you. How much has he got in there?
Do I now?
How many acres does he have?
I've got 1.5 acres. When this property was divided out, I've got an acre land, he got an acre and a half, because the value was supposed to be the same. But he's telling me that the city up here's got it for $38,000 appraised. I tried to buy it from him 3 or 4 times, and I can't do it.
Well, we've postponed doing this about as long as, well, probably than we should. We heard Ben was buying it the other day, and he couldn't make a deal for it. I've been trying to bring it to grips to do something with it, but we keep hearing it may sell, and I thought that might take the burden off the city to clean it up.
But is there any way that we can have a property where they can't put a trailer park back on? Is this in a residential area?
I think whoever purchases it, or however that works, they would have to go through the process and meet all the criteria in the zoning ordinance for a trailer park, which it has specific lot sizes and different things, and, you know, it would have to, there would be a process.
He's got 4 trailers on, or 4 lots for an acre and a half land.
None of the trailers are livable.
No, they don't even, you probably follow through if you walk through it.
It would be worth much more cleaned up than it is the way it is. We'll try to stop procrastinating, Mr. Jewell. We're sorry, I apologize to you for the time it's taken to get to this, but some things are a little hard to do.
I understand that.
But we don't intend to leave you in this mess forever.
I know he's got laws goes by and he's saying he's got people suing. I don't know why. We're just getting run around from him up there.
I owe you an apology, and I'm gonna give you a public one, okay?
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for coming down tonight.
Thank you for hearing me.
You bet. Okay, any department heads have anything else that you'd like to bring up?
Just mention, if you would, 7th Street.
Yeah, I'd like to make a public announcement about this. Mike had to, because a culvert has caved in and fell in on 7th, we've had to close that street down. It's gonna be closed a few more days. They've opened it up to see what they've gotta do, and it's got 2 7-foot, metal tiles that are deep in the ground. It's gonna take a good effort to get them out of the ground, and, it's gonna take, we've got to order some new pipe before we can fix it, so.
It's probably gonna be a couple of weeks.
We're in the process of trying to repair that. It is a bus route, so it's inconvenience and some.
We've got it blocked off now. If you're coming off of Highway 17, there's a sign up there that says road closed ahead. And if they were to turn in there, we've got a place for them to turn around there and go back out. And then if you come in from Aggie, all the way across from 74, across 7th Street.
Mike told me he tried to walk down the tile today and he fell through and buried up in mud.
Is it the segment when you come off of 17 right there at the bottom of the hill?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then
That's what I was
people that
thinking.
live on 7th Street can come all the way down to Aggie Avenue or 4th Avenue, and that's where we got another barricade and a block there. So there's plenty of places to turn around, but just if you don't live there and don't need to go through there, it should be a benefit.
So we asked the public to bear with us. We are working on it. It's a problem of decayed pipe that's finally caved in and made the street impassable, but we're trying to get it worked on and fixed, and Michael accomplished that in the next few days. Any other business tonight?
I hate to bring this up every meeting. What's the latest report on our bridge?
Okay, the bridge was inspected and the punch list was punched and it did not pass inspection. I don't have an exact on that. Do you know, Scott, the reason it didn't pass?
Well, now, before you said it passed inspection and we were waiting on the
It's not the
contractor.
bridge structure.
Okay.
It's the punch list that goes with, everything had to be fine.
Okay.
The bridge is fine, it's been inspected, it's a great bridge. But there's a lot of things, the side had to be just so, the riprap had to be just so. Something didn't mesh up with the state's punch list, and they said we'd have the bridge in the next 2 weeks, hopefully. I've talked with the engineers, the Aldite, I've talked to the contractor. We can't use the bridge yet. It's sad. We've had the bridge inspected, passed in flying colors. It's a great structure. There's some things that they weren't happy with and wouldn't pass it and take the barriers down. Good question, Herbert. You'd like to use that bridge, wouldn't you?
I'd like to go across. Got some neighbors the same way. Bunch of them. Too far as Hardy's that way.
Save some time and some gas.
We're proud of all our visitors that came tonight. Thank y'all for coming. Good to listen to you, young lady.
Thank the representative too for coming tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tracy. With no other business to come before us tonight, we would need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
We got the motion. We'll need a second. A second. All in favor?